What is up, guys? Team Yugi here with another deck profile, and today we're going to be looking at my updated Zoodiac deck profile for the release of Rise of the Duelist, which comes out in all retailers today. Came out to OTS stores yesterday, which is cool. And this is basically one of the decks that I think has a pretty good chance of kind of standing up to the new Dogma Kita, or the Dragma, whatever you want to call it. I think that this also has a really good matchup against most decks for the most part, which is great. I think that it has a pretty good Adamantipator matchup. It has an okay Eldritch matchup. The Eldritch matchup is a little more difficult, but it's sometimes playable. It's just a little more difficult. But the Adamantipator matchup, this deck has a pretty good match against it. So I'm going to go ahead and showcase to you guys what I'm playing. And I just got a new tripod in the mail today, so I'm very happy because it's a lot better than the one that I had. So I'll show you guys the one that I was using for like the last probably 2 months. So this is the one I was using. It's like got it's for like a phone and everything. But like it's got these bendy legs, which are kind of cool, but the only problem is they're almost never even. So like it kind of slants and tilts to the side. So I got really sick and tired of using it, so I had to order a new one, and this one is absolutely perfect. So I am fully content with that. But let's hop into the deck profile. We have 3 Thoroughblade. Obviously, this is your draw card. It just helps you do a bunch of other stuff too. Thoroughblade is just an amazing Zoodiac card. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit here. Perfect. So yeah, it's overall just a really, really crazy card. Allows you to get some piercing damage in and boost your Zoodiac monsters that it's equipped to. And then we have our triple Whiptail. Whiptail is very important to this deck because it just banishes whatever it battles with. So like having that on your Zoodiac monster is absolutely nuts. Being able to banish cards is without targeting them is crazy. Then we have 3 Ram. Ram is really good for a multitude of reasons. Obviously, its special summon ability when it's destroyed is great, but also the fact that if your opponent like tries to imperm your Zoodiac monster, you can actually detach a material to negate the imperm, which is really neat. Then we have 1 Rat Pier and 1 Bunny Blast. Nothing to really explain here. That's just... It's just the 2 that you have to play as extras. So the Bunny Blast is kind of more so of a tech, but I wanted another name, so I opted to go with that. But moving on to the hand traps, we play the triple Nibiru. That should be fairly obvious. Nibiru is just a really, really good card overall, so being able to wipe your opponent's board is pretty important nowadays. Triple Ash Blossom, that's also kind of obvious. Most decks are playing this. It's just the best hand trap to play as a generic card in your deck. Triple Ghost Ogre. This is really good against the Numeron matchup. It's pretty needed. It's also good against Needle Fiber. If your opponent tries to Needle Fiber, which they successfully resolve still, but their Needle Fiber doesn't get to stay, so they don't have a link cross play, which is really strong. Then we play Triple Veiler. Being able to Veiler your opponent is really, really good because it's during their main phase at any point. So, like, if your opponent does 5 summons, you could go into a Nibiru, and then if they try to extend past that, you could Veiler whatever they try to extend with. You could also do the same thing with Ash Blossom, which is really good. Then for the spells, we have 3 Tenki and 1 Barrage for our search engine here. This is kind of standard. I wish Barrage was at multiples, but they gave us Dryden back, so I guess they wanted to keep the Barrage limited. I get it, I just don't like it. Then the draw power, we have triple Desires, double Avarice, and 1 Upstart. I thought about just playing 1 Avarice and then playing a Zoodiac combo, but I really just like the double Avarice. Getting the 2 draws, in my opinion, is just a whole lot better. And then just playing the 1 Upstart because it makes the deck 39 cards. That's pretty standard. Then I'll show one of the one-ofs, and then I'll go into the 1 tech that we play. Monster Reborn, that's just there because getting one of your Zoo cards back can be the difference between winning and losing. And then the tech card here that we have is pretty interesting. I think this card is really, really important going forwards, and that is Forbidden Chalice. I think it's really good against a lot of decks that are going to set up those big boards that you have to kind of break through. I also think that it's very important going up against your Numeron engine, because when they activate their S0, you can just drop the Chalice and negate the S0, and then you get to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is always what you want to do. And then the last card that we play in the deck is Triple Imperm, just another hand trap that's really, really solid. It's also good against the Numeron engine if your opponent shotguns the S0, so playing the Imperms is pretty cool. I'm actually going to show the side deck before I show the extra deck, because I think it's kind of important to show this side deck beforehand, and then explain things in the extra deck afterwards. So for the extra hand trap cards that we're playing in the side deck, we have 3 Winter Cherries and 3 Lancia. The Cherries and the Lancia are really good against a lot of decks. Obviously against Eldritch it's really good. You'll see some of the stuff that I'm using for the Cherries target. And then the Lancia is really good against Eldritch. It's really good against Adamancipator because they can't make their block dragon, which is really important for them to do. So if you could drop the Lancia, that's pretty solid. It's decent against like any kind of invoke variation, because then they can't banish stuff from grave, and if they don't have it in hand, then it just kind of sucks for them. It's also really good against Dinosaur, so Lancia is a really good card, and so is Cherries. Then because we're playing Zoodiacs, I wanted to just play this for fun, and it would be triple Gam Seal. I think that if you hand trap your opponent like 2 times, and then you have a Gam Seal in hand, or you draw into a Gam Seal, and then you have like 1 Zoodiac monster, you can basically just play through their entire board. So the Gam Seal I thought was really good against the combo-based decks. Then we have Triple Cosmic for the back row decks. I think that the Triple Cosmic is just really important. I think that overall it's the best back row removal outside of cards like Lightning Storm or Evenly, but the problem with those cards is that you don't get a battle phase out of Evenly, and with Lightning Storm they do go to grave, they're not banished, which against Eldritch kind of doesn't do much for you. So if you wanted to do anything, you could swap the Cosmics for something like an Evenly matched if you really wanted to. And then the last card, I just side deck Triple Strike in case we are forced to go first, which in a lot of cases does happen. People realize that we want to go second with the amount of hand traps that we play, and then they force us to go first instead. So if you think your opponent's going to make you go first, toss in those strikes. But that is the side deck. Now I'll move on to the extra deck. That way I can kind of explain things. So we have 1 Hammer Kong, which I think you just need 1 of it, honestly. I don't think you need any more than that. 2 Borbo. I like playing 2 of this, actually. It's pretty good because if you go in a time or something, it's there to kind of poke for damage, which is important. And then outside of that, it's just kind of like a throwaway one, so it's okay to basically just give one of your Zoodiacs more materials. Then we have 2 Tiger Mortar. You really only need 2 of this. I found that like after testing 3 that it was too much, so I opted to just stick with 2 and go with that. Then we have Triple Chakanine. I think this you just have to play 3 of. Like bringing back one of your Zoodiacs from grave is how you make the 1 Link monster in our deck that we play. So playing the Chakanine, in my opinion, is really important. And then the 1 Trident. That's just standard. Kind of have to do that. Then we play the double Megaclops. I think that after testing with just 1, that 1 wasn't enough. So I opted to add a second one because there are times where you can go in your combo twice during the course of a game. So making a second Megaclops after your opponent outs 1 can definitely cause them to lose the game. Moving on to the Cherries targets though. I do have a Helga Fibrex and an S0. Overall, just really, really good choices. Like your opponent is gonna look at you like you're crazy when you drop Cherries, and then you're gonna reveal the card that they're gonna make, and they're just going to basically throw their head in their hands and hopefully cry. You know, that's the goal. You want to make them all cry. And then the last 2 cards that we play, I'll explain this. I think this is going to be really important. People are going to start putting stuff like this in their extra deck or side decking it for certain matchups. I play 1 Nova and 1 Makaba. This is for the Dragma matchup, or the Dog Makita or Drag Makita, whatever it's being called. This is really, really important because they tell you that they're going to send 2 cards from your extra deck from the graveyard, or 1 card, whatever the case is. You want to send Nova, and then you can send either one of your Cherries targets to the grave. And then the Nova will summon the Mechaba from your extra deck, which is really, really cool. You don't have to play Mechaba, you can play other cards, but I think that this is just overall the best card to pick from. And because you have so many hand traps that are monsters, you may not need them in that matchup, so you can discard them with Mechaba to negate one of your opponent's monsters effects, which I just think is absolutely nuts. So playing this is definitely a solid choice. I would highly recommend playing the Mechaba and the Nova. But that concludes the Zoodiac deck profile updated for the Rise of the Duelist released, and I guess you can call it season if you want to call it that. We basically don't have a season in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. There's not much to do. If your locals are open, you're very lucky. Thankfully, my locals are open. It's non-OTS, so we're just kind of playing for, you know, whatever packs are there, which could be Rise of the Duelist. For a little while, it was Battles of Legend, which is not that great because the set flopped, but it's definitely pretty neat to have the ability to play in a locals still, because there are some people who do not have that luxury. But I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And for right now, this is Team Yugi Phils signing out.